to concede and purports to cancel the Andani Group deals in the transport and the health sectors on Thursday, November 21, during the State of the Nation address. Whether or not Mr. Ruto's embarrassing concession was due to foreign intervention, it is clear that he did not listen to his fellow Kenyans as he later claimed. What is evident and should be clear to Mr. Ruto and his government is that the voices of the people are and will continue to be the most important, as stated plainly under Article 1 of Kenya's Constitution 2010. While we, the People's Loyal Opposition, acknowledge, encourage, and respect people's voices, the victory is by no means complete. The opaqueness in the purported cancellation of the JKI and KETRACO deals needs to be examined. In addition, the Adani connection, the Social Health Authority, SHA, and Social Health Insurance Fund, SHIF, the Adani needs to be severed immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, co-chair of the dialogue process, I can attest that we negotiated in good faith. This regime has demonstrated time and again that they are not interested in justice or in the interests of Kenyans. Since the tabling of the report in Parliament almost a year ago, on December 7th, 2023, the NADCO agreement has not been implemented. The few concessions on the cost of living have not even been honored. The matters relating to electoral justice have not been implemented, including evaluation of the 2022 election outcomes. The constitutional and legal reforms to ensure credible elections are still pending. Aggression against Jubilee, because we also had that as a very important agenda item, and that's not contained in my statement here. But that was a very important agenda, integrity and commitment to multi-party democracy. And by that we meant that this state-sponsored aggression on Jubilee Party had also to stop. We now know there's even, again, state-sponsored appeal to the higher courts. The Kenya Kwanza regime is clawing back and putting the country on a dangerous trajectory. They are determined to violate the NADCO agreement and the proposed constitutional and legal instruments agreed. Of particular concern are the constitutional timelines for boundary delimitation and the reconstitution of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. The regime is already breaching the Constitution by failing to meet constitutional deadlines for boundary delimitation. We are already facing, ladies and gentlemen, a constitutional crisis. And I saw the cry by the management of the IBC saying they're seeking an advisory for the Supreme Court. Well, they should just tell Mr. Ruto to implement NADCO report. On IBC, the regime is not interested in the reconstitution of a credible commission. Through sponsored court cases, the process of setting up the panel has been frustrated. We have a simple question for the judiciary, which, as we say, the last line of defense for democracy. Did the Constitution envisage a situation where the commissioners of the IEBC are not in office? Did the framers of our Constitution contemplate a situation where the courts can allow for a dysfunctional commission? The unpopular regime does not want Kenyans to exercise their sovereign authority by electing leaders through by-elections and referendums, recalling unpopular elected officials or members, and properly preparing for the 2027 elections. Kenya Kwanza is preparing to undermine the people's sovereign authority and manipulate the next election. We will, of course, not allow them. The bill in Senate to stop, for example, the live streaming of results is one way of stealing elections, the coming elections. We will not allow them. In 2024, as the country's position deteriorated, Kenya's violent youth, headed by Generation Z, returned to the streets to seek justice for Kenyans. They were confronted with severe force as of 2023. In reality, there have been orders of abduction and extrajudicial killings following the Gen Z revolution. We want to tell the Gen Z and the Gen Wote that we will continue to stand with them against this state-sponsored violence and impunity. We are still unearthing evidence of infractions, including those that contravene international law. The regime cannot understand the just demands of Kenyans cannot be wished away. As the lives of Kenyans become intolerable and precarious, we continue to demand justice. The next Maandamanos will resolve Kenya's problems once and for all. Finally, we want to warn the Kenya Kwanza regime in the clearest possible terms. We will not allow A, the balkanization of our nation. B, we will never again allow the rigging of elections. And C, we will continue to resist against oppression, come what may. Thank you very much, and may God bless our country, Kenya. Asanteni. Kama kuna swali, but probably before you ask, maybe give opportunity to Mheshimiwa Peter Mwadhi. Money. We have said time and again that these are goons sponsored by the state, using walkie-talkies. No amount of denial by the Inspector General and the DCI will convince Kenyans that this is not the case. And I want to challenge Mr. Kanja. I have respect for him, that he should stand and actually, if he's in charge, because he's also a member of National Police Service Directorate, to say no and dismantle this criminal crowd, because international community is watching. We must tell them, Kenya is not an island, and everybody is focusing their mind on see the deterioration in the rule of law practice in this country. So, Mheshimiwa Mwadhi, pole sana. He said that twice, 3 times, anapelekwa kwa bush, alafu anaulizana, na hapa iko sawa. Yani hapo amumalizie hapo. Maximum fear and terrorism.